You grew up in a traditional Indian family. What was life like growing up in India?
I'm the first woman to be educated in my family, or even the extended family. And having two older brothers to look up to and to really see how driven they were and ambitious they were, I think it really gave me a road into really being my own person. As women, I think we're capable of really multitasking today. And look at our lives today, even look compared to my grandmother, where she had to take this big stone and make chutney. Like it took her 3 hours to go grind. We don't do that anymore. We don't have to, wash our clothes and spend all that time like women used to do. I would say it's you can find freedom in India right now. I mean, it's the whole preconceived notion of women are supposed to be just in the kitchen and childbearers, and I think that's far gone. I mean, when I go to India, I feel a lot more energy, a lot more women entrepreneurs, women business, women trying to pursue their dreams, and I would say in the last 20 years, it's a very different place.
What kind of problems and tensions did you face?
I think there was a lot of preconceived tradition that was put on me about you have to be a certain way, you have to behave a certain way, your ambition and your dreams have to be curtailed to a certain extent. But I would say, was my family supportive? It was not really a red carpet welcome, but at the same time, they did not really stop me once they saw that I was gung-ho on doing something. And I think in a way that helped me develop my personality, go after something I really believe in no matter what happens. I think they helped me develop my personality quite a bit in trying to not making it so easy for me to get what I wanted to get.
You mentioned a Gandhi quote about education.
One of the things that stuck in me as a young child growing up was Gandhi saying, you educate a woman, you educate a family, and you educate a man, you educate a person. Nothing against men, I love men. And so I think it's important for women to know that it's not a quantity of time you spend with kids and educating them. You educate by showing how passionate you are about your life. And I was very fortunate to have a father who was very passionate about his life and what he did. And I could watch that every day and say, that's the kind of life I want.
So let's go a little bit into your education. What kind of education did take place in your life?
After my 12th grade in India, I went into electronics engineering.
Okay.
And this was in '87. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I finished my electronics engineering, I came over to the United States and to get my master's in computer science.
What was the transition like coming from India to the United States?
It was scary because, growing up in a very traditional family, my curfew time was 6 p.m. I had to be home, and without escort, if I could not go out after 6 p.m. And here I am, traveled to the U.S., and now I'm on by myself looking for a place to stay. It was kind of scary. I think I would say about 12 months was kind of trying to relearn all of the basics.
Wow. So did coming to America play a big role in your success?
It was not a normal trend for women to get educated for higher education. At that time, the next thing you do is you're 19, 20, 21, and you have to get married. And there were a lot of suitors coming over, and you know how that works. So I would say at that time, given the whole environment, yes, for me, America was freedom.
What advice can you offer young Indian women towards pursuing their dreams?
I think there are many, many ways to go achieve your dreams, and my advice would be figure out what you really want and pursue it.
How did you come up with the idea of Cirrus?
I always knew I wanted to start my own company, and I would say that's probably one of the dreams I came to the U.S. with. But at the same time, I didn't know if I was capable or not, and I knew I have to test the water to even know if if I was actually built for it, but I knew I'm going to do something on my own. So after I graduated from master's in my computer science, I tried to work for large companies so that there is experience in working for a large company. So I worked at NASA, the Aviation Safety Reporting Systems Group. Then I went to work for Silicon Graphics. These were the times when Silicon Graphics was the company to work for. I still have a T-shirt that says the best company in the world. So, and working there for Silicon Graphics about 2.5 years, I realized it's time for me to go join a startup. Because in startups, you start making connections with people, understand the basics of how do you start a company. So I joined Healthion. Today it's called WebMD. After we went IPO, I decided that it's time to start my own company. We started Cirrus because I saw a lot of changes in the market. That is, when advent of the internet and the web changed everybody's world about how you buy and sell. So Cirrus, what we do is we provide intelligence for manufacturing, especially with companies who outsource their manufacturing. That's pretty much everybody today. So you bring in the right people in the first place. And as long as the people who are passionate about changing the world, and as long as we are actually doing that, people are happy that they're making a difference in the world.
I think that INDU perfectly fits the company that she has created here. First of all, it is her company. She started it, literally at her kitchen table. She is the spirit of this company. That's number one. Number two is that she is a very good communicator. And that's very important. Some CEOs that I've invested with end up not being very good communicators, and yet the CEO has to be the number one salesperson for the company. Whether it's in raising money or going to major customers, they all eventually want to hear the CEO say, I'm behind this company. And INDU is a great example of a CEO who can communicate very clearly and with a tremendous credibility.
She is passionate about what she does, and she wants to make each meeting and session with individuals or investors or customer with an impression. And in today's environment, you often don't get second chances on a lot of things you do in life.
INDU's personality, if you've met her, she's a very vibrant personality, motivates the people very well, works extremely well with customers and with executives. She's also very knowledgeable about the high-tech area, has had long association with it. So if you combine those two in a new business model and a new area of outsourced manufacturing, it became a natural.
Being a successful businesswoman, how do you balance business and your personal life?
I think it's a continuous process. And balancing life, it's something I have learned, which I'm very proud of. Because having been part of my son's life and trying to pursue my own career and trying to see how do you balance both of them, I look at them as twins. Some days my company calls, and some days your child calls, and it's like if you have two children, you don't throw away one because another one needs attention. So it's a continuous balancing act.
So, what are some of your outside interests?
Recently, I've picked up tennis, so that hopefully that's the sport that my son and I will develop for a lifetime together. I like to do things that kind of keeps my mind refreshed and also gets beyond my work life. I'm into salsa dancing, love doing that, and also I like flying. I thought flying was one of those where you have to have complete focus, your mind, your eyes, because you don't want to get hit. I mean, this is life or death situation. So that's why I picked up flying, because I look at it as meditation, because I'm not a yoga or meditation person, because I'm still thinking subconsciously or consciously about solving your day-to-day problems. So this is one of the ways that I think it's stress relieving for me, is flying.
Do you have a philosophy or a belief that you live by?
I would say be who you are. And we all have strengths and weaknesses. Knowing who you are and what your weaknesses are, and embrace your weakness. And it's okay, we're humans. And really knowing that there are few weaknesses we want to work on, and get better. There's some weaknesses we don't want to because we have no interest in developing it. And it's okay. It's really knowing what we're good at and what we're not so good at and what we want to develop. I think it's very, very important. And that's what I live by every day. You know, as an entrepreneur, you have certain liability. Yes, there is passion, and you want to change the world, and you want to make a difference, but at the same time, you have employees, you have investors, you have board members, and it comes with a lot of responsibility because I've raised close to $20 million, so that means people are looking for return, and I have employees here, 60 employees who actually look for making sure, you know, they and their family are taken care of. So it comes with a lot of liability and responsibility, and I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be aware that it encompasses everything.
How does it differ being a woman entrepreneur versus a male?
I focus on my strength, and I do not even ever think I'm a woman, so I'm different, or I'm a man, or somebody else is a man, he's got better capabilities. And I would say a lot of it is within our head. And today, being a woman, I think it's a great place to be, because I'm not really the first woman. There is Meg Whitman, there is Carly, there is, if you look at, Indira Nooyi, who is the CEO of Pepsi, a lot of women who are actually being very successful. So that whole thing of, is women really respected in this job, in this thing? I've never come across it. And I would say it's actually benefit, because if I go to a conference, I'm one or two women there. So I'm remembered.
What advice can you offer young Indian women?
I would say pursue your dream. For young women, life is too short. And if you want to do something with your life, do it. Because, you know, everybody can find excuses why not to do and what not to do. If you're really, really ambitious and persistent, you will get to where you want to go. And I would say entrepreneurship, it's not easy, but if you want to get there, you will get there. You can have your career and your family life. And I think the balancing both of them, it's nirvana. So